Hi, my name is Israel again from Perfect Patterns, and this tutorial is to show you how to take the measurements correctly in order to have a perfect pattern, three-dimensional and anatomical. Most of the time people when take the measurement they forget about things in the body that represent a problem, and they don't take in consideration that, and they continue drawing the pattern, and at the end they have to rectify most of the measurements, and at the end when they get the clothes done, they don't get a perfect fitting. They have to make a lot of alterations. So we are going to take the measurements in the order that we need it to work with a perfect pattern system, and you will see how easy it is and how accurate the result is. First of all, we have to divide the body in two portions, top and trunk. So I have made a line over here to determine the top and separate it from the bottom. So I'm going to do over here. When you take measurement on a person, you have to tie a rope in the waist, because if this point and this point doesn't lay horizontally, we have problems with the distance that is very important, because it's called the height of neck to waist. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to tie a rope in the waist. This is a lateral view and this is a front view, so it's going to be the same. When we start drawing patterns, we establish points as you see in the other videos, and we call those points anatomical points. They receive the name of anatomical points because they receive the name of the part of the where they are. For example, the first anatomical point that we're going to establish is this one, and this is a letter A in the construction that we showed you before. So this is be called neck point, and this is the front view, this is the lateral view. It's more or less over here. Well, we start measuring from that point toward the back, with the measuring tape until here, and this is the second anatomical point, which is waist. When we measure from here to here, we're supposed to get, for a size 8, 42 centimeters. But when we do the same for the front, we start over here and we finish over here. I separated the line for you to catch the idea. It really over the surface of the body. So we get 43 centimeters. And we notice a difference of 1 centimeter. That's very important that we do the pattern with 42 in the back and 43 in the front, because the bust, the protuberance of the bust, is making us have 1 extra centimeter. If the bust is bigger than A or B or C, you will see a noticeable increment of this length. So it will not be 1 centimeter different, it will be 2 or 3 centimeters different. Well, this is neck to waist, in the front 43, in the back 42. The height of the neck, we always use the word height because in the three-dimension property there's 3 moving. One that determines the height, one that determines the width and the depth. So it's very important that when we establish the points, we take care of the high points first, and then the other that gives the volume. Height of neck. For the back, start over here until we get here. And this is 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters for the back, and 7 centimeters for the front. Because the front, it will make us arrive here in the throat. So there's 7 here and 2 here. Now, height of shoulder. Again, you see the word height. This is the distance from the higher point to the shoulder, the drop of the shoulder, which is the lower part of the shoulder, which is the same as the articulation of the arm. So more or less we have 4 centimeters in the front and 4 centimeters in the back. This is a matter of our appreciation. If you see somebody that do exercise and the trapezius is a little bit elevated, we are not going to put 4. We're going to put 4.5. But there are some people that require only 3.5, and this is something that we are going to determine at that point when we see the person in front of us. Now we have around the arm. Around the arm is very important because not only is important for the drawing of the sleeve, but it's going to determine the height from the lower part of the shoulder and the pit of the arm. So in the lateral view over here, we have 2 circles. Okay, when we measure the arm around here, in a round trip, all around the body, the arm, in the highest part of the arm, not here and not here, around the armpit, all the way to the side, we have 28. But those 28 will be the first circle. But we are not going to make clothes with 28 because it's too high and too tight for the arm to go through. So what we have is 2 options. The Italian option and the French option. Italian armhole are very high, and French armholes are a little bit lower. So when we have the Italian armhole, we're going to add at 28 that we measure in the arm, we're going to add 8, and we have 36. And when we want the French armhole, we're going to take 28 and we're going to add 10, and we have 38. This 36 is the roundness of the arm, including the allowance for ease. So we don't get the fabric all the way to the armpit. We have it a little bit more or less like 2 centimeters down. So when we divide, if we want the Italian armhole, we divide 36 by 2, which is 18. So it means that the distance from the lower part of the shoulder to the armpit is 18 for the Italian one. And that's what we want to put down over here. If we want to do the French, and then we do 19 because half of 38 is 19. So around the arm over here is 28 for both. But the height of thorax is 18. The middle top is more or less the distance from the articulation of the arm in the middle portion. So this line over here, we don't have a way to measure and establish the point by just going to the body. We have proposed that if we take half the way, this is the thorax line, and this is the throat over here, the shoulder line. The distance from the shoulder line to the thorax line, the halfway, is called the middle top. And this is very important because this is going to determine the curvature of the armhole, how appropriate it has to be for the people to feel comfortable and be able to do the moving. And it doesn't matter that it's a dress for a special occasion or something for pret-a-porter. So the middle top, we already know that is halfway of the shoulder and thorax. Now height of bust. Oh, the height of thorax, we already know that is the half the measurement of the armhole plus the Italian formula or the French formula. The height of bust is from the neck on the side over here to the tip, the apex of the bust. And if we do that in this size 8, we get 25. And 25. So the middle top is halfway, but we are missing something over here. Since all of the moving that we are going to be making coming from the highest point, which is going to be the letter A in the construction, it means side neck, we have 4 centimeters to arrive here and 18 centimeters to arrive here. The total of 4 and 18 is 22. That's why over here we're going to put 18 plus 4, and 18 plus 4 is equal 22. The middle top is half of the 18 plus the 4. So 4 plus 9 is 13. Let's not get confused with these numbers over here. You will be able to pause the video and make adjustment over here to get this straightened out. Now let's go to the height of bust. Height of bust is 25 and 25, and this is very important because the height of bust is going to determine the point, the operation point that we take in consideration when we do necklines and all the designs we need to establish. Plus, all of the darts concerning in the front are going to be directed directly to the apex of the bust. That's why it's very important that we have this located correctly so our darts don't be misorientated. Separation of bust is the distance from one apex to the other apex, and it's 9 for the front. For the back, we also use 9 because, like I always say, we don't have bust in the back, but we have in the back we have a dart, two vertical darts that they will run with the same distance from the bust, and more or less the bra line in the back is more or less the same as the beginning of the dart for the front. You will get that point later on when we make practice. Around the waist is right where the waist, natural waist is, not where now we have the pants over this way, or the skirts go very low. So we have the ribs over here, and we have the pelvis, which is a big bone that we have there. Okay, right here in the soft part that you can grab your fingers in there and you don't see nothing hard, that's the natural waist. And that's where you put the rope, and that's where you take the measurement around. We want to take the measurement just the way it is, without adding nothing or taking anything. So if we do that on a size 8, we have 66, and half a quarter of that measurement is 16. 16 and 16. And I'm forgetting over here the thorax. The thorax is very important, not to include the bust like all the methods do, because when we do the bust at this level and we make the design of it with this level, with this measurement over here, we do the design over here, you see what we get? We get an empty portion that is not making us any good. That's why all of the designs that you buy from the store, when you have a neckline, they collapse and they are fluffy here, they are loose, because they carry the same measurement of the bust in the empty part on the top. So in our system, we take the thorax measurement over the bust. And as you saw in the tutorial for the front bodies, we add for dart, that actually I have it over here. For dart, we have 3 centimeters outward from the body line. These 3 centimeters are to cover the protuberance that we are not including over here. This 3 centimeter protuberance is the same 3 centimeters that we are using for a cup B or cup A. So there's no contradiction on that. When you do the practice, you will notice how accurate this system is. So very important to notice not to take in consideration the bust when you take in the thorax or the chest, if you want to call this chest, contour of chest or circumference of chest. We prefer to call around the thorax, because this is the thoracic part of the body, and that's what we name it. So pretty much these are the measurements. Now let's take a little bit about the cup. Like I say, the cup is the protuberance of the apex of the bust compared to the bones. I mean, the body is all the way to here. And this soft part is called the bust. So, a lot of these methods, they divide this measurement by 4 equal parts. And they are not 4 equal parts. Because if we draw a line over here that we call side line on the garment, we see that from here to here, it is not the same measurement that from here to here. You will still carry the 3 centimeters difference on this side over here, and when we do the pattern making with the traditional methods, we get a line like this. And it's not centering. It's not centered on the side. That's why if we take the measurement not including the bust, we get a perfect fourth of the measurement, equal portions, and then when we get to design the dart, and then we take care of that by adding the 3 centimeters that we were missing, in order to satisfy the expression of the bust. So how do we calculate the cups? Well, let me draw over here something like this. And this is the neck. This is a view from the top. But when we have the body all the way to here. And this is protuberance. When we do the measurement around, including the bust, let's say that we have 88 centimeters. And we have over here the armpit and the armpit. So the measuring tape will start over here. And it will go around the body under the arms. If we go from the armpit to armpit from the back, we have 41. You can do measurements by your own and make this as part of your routine, so you get familiar with all the needs that we have in order to make a perfect patterns. So we have a total of 88 in the total roundness, and when we measure the armpit to armpit from the back, we get 41. So if we take 41 out of 88, we have 47. So those 47 that we have in the front is telling us that it's not a halfway in the back and halfway in the front, or four equal parts, like we said before. So if we take those 47 and we take again 41, the remnant is 6. And since we have 2 busts, 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. That's why in the measurement chart, for a cup A, we're going to do 2. Right now, we're going to do 2 centimeters. But if we are drawing let me see where I put it. If we're going to draw a cup B, we need 3 centimeters. So we have a book that talks about all these characteristics of the body, and we call tridimension versus anatomy. That's the name of the book that we have. It's very important that we get to know those differences, because it's very important. Well, with these measurements already taken, you know already how to get the measurement and the heights and the points. It's very important to remember that all these points are anatomical points, construction points. They have the same idea, and all these formulas that I've been teaching you is very important, because we are making garments for the body. We are not inventing something to fit in the body. So we want to achieve a perfect fitting and a nice look without contradiction. Well, this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoy it and like it. I would like to hear your comments, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.